Hope to get out of this is that that CAO resigns and we have an effective individual put into that position.
The former head of safety and permits for the city of New Orleans calls on the city's second top-ranking official, Gilbert Montano, to step down. Good evening, I'm Meg Gatto.
And I'm Liz Reyes. That former director, Zach Smith, believes he was removed from his position for blowing the whistle on an alleged bribery scheme.
Prosecutors detailed that alleged scheme in a federal indictment Friday. David Jones joins us now with more.
The indictment charges a former contracted inspector, Randy Farrell, with executing a scheme to defraud the city and the permitting process. Zach Smith says he caught wind of the scheme and believes he was demoted as a result.
So yeah, I'm anxious and I'm nervous.
Former Director of Safety and Permits, Zach Smith, says he was shocked when the indictment was handed up.
Something that I had never contemplated to be true seems to have a very reasonable expectation now of being true.
The 25-page document details an alleged conspiracy between Metairie businessman and third-party inspector Randy Farrell. Businessman 1, whose sources tell Fox 8 is close Cantrell ally Fouad Zeton. Public official 1, whose sources say is Cantrell herself. And public official 2, who sources say is Gilbert Montano, the number 2 in the city, who serves as the chief administrative officer. Prosecutors say Farrell was using licensed electricians to sign off on permits for work being done by other unlicensed electricians who bribed him. The indictment zeroes in on his relationship with Zeton and accuses the two of pressuring Cantrell to effectively terminate Jennifer Cecil, an employee who was onto the scheme.
She didn't resign because just out of the blue. You're being pressured and bullied and belittled in that sort of way. It's crazy.
Prosecutors say Farrell complained to Zeton about Cecil, saying he wanted Zeton to get Cantrell to fire her, writing, quote, "This should be easy for public official 1 to make happen." Prosecutors write Farrell bought 17 tickets to a Saints game in January 2019, which he gave to Zeton, who then gave the tickets to Cantrell. Months later, at a steakhouse luncheon with Farrell, Zeton, and Cantrell in attendance, prosecutors say Farrell again put pressure on the mayor to get rid of Cecil. 4 days later, the indictment says Cantrell convened a meeting with safety and permits employees without Cecil in attendance.
To be able to, based on a complaint about, a professionalism, stop and give two lunch periods over to have kind of this little witch hunt go on, tells me that it was clearly the fix was in there.
The next day, prosecutors say the mayor told a supervisor to fire Cecil. Less than a week later, prosecutors say Zach Smith froze credentials for Farrell's licensed electrician after requesting a meeting with the electrician to ask about the substantial number of permits in his name. Prosecutors say Smith asked his superior, Gilbert Montano, the city's CAO, to initiate an independent investigation.
We laid out with some specificity what we best believed was happening, essentially what the scam was.
But Smith says it never materialized.
Slow walk's the thing. I mean, you're talking about a couple of immediate replies in email. Then you're talking about the denial of budget requests for these new, procedures and people.
In November 2019, prosecutors allege Montano asked Zeton for 3 tickets to the college football playoff national championship game in January 2020. The next day, Zeton replied, "Consider it done."
It's the asking, I'm literally asking from the people that have so much to gain.
On December 4th, Smith says he sent an email to the attorney for the electrician saying documents and information he had requested had to be submitted to the city by December 13th. Just 2 days later, prosecutors say Zeton met with Montano, sending Farrell a photo of the two together. Then Farrell replied with the name and business of the electrician.
It seemed irrational, it seemed unreasonable that we were not getting the help that we were screaming for. But at the same time, I thought it was a difference of opinion. Hey, he's got the title, he's got the authority, and for whatever reason deemed it to not be important.
The same day as that meeting, prosecutors say Farrell bought 4 tickets to a Saints game for more than $1,000, 3 of which Zeton gave to Montano, and prosecutors say attended the game with Montano and 2 of his family members. Montano told Fox 8 last week, quote, "Tickets go around this city all the time. I get tickets all the time, but it doesn't mean I sell my integrity or reputation. That's the most discouraging part of this."
It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad at how much was lost for the citizens over the last 5 years, especially dealing with COVID and all these other things. And they got to deal with less investment in safety and permits because actions that we were trying to take were sidelined and killed off.
Montano demoted Smith in March of 2020, following Lee Zurich's inspecting the inspector's reports, which detailed discrepancies between city inspection logs and GPS records of city vehicles, and led to the emergency suspensions of 2 city inspectors who should have been working at the Hard Rock construction site before it collapsed. Montano, at the time, said the demotion was part of a broad reorganization of the Department of Safety and Permits.
I think this is where it's incumbent upon us and the administration to ensure that our due diligence is checked and then rechecked. So wherever there was question, wherever there was concern on any building or any inspection that did or did not happen, I think we have to double check, double verify.
Smith believes he was caught up in blowback from working with Cecil to uncover the scheme. The administration is defending Montano, saying they stand behind him and his service to the city. Neither Cantrell nor Montano has been criminally charged in any of this.